Hey there, chipmunks! Welcome to the AMP Cycling Ride Review Series. I'm your host, Angry Chipmunk, and today we'll be taking a look at one of the Challenge family rides. This is the St. Pölten ride in Austria. This ride is available on Rouvy, so let's get right into it. This is a medium-length ride at about 40 kilometers long and low to moderate elevation at only 370 meters. It averages just 1% for the entire route. There are 2 or 3 Strava segments in this ride. Rouvy lists 2 short sprints, but Strava has the main climb and only 1 sprint. And since the climb isn't included, you may find it helpful to look it up first. It's called Pölten, and I will try to put a link in the description for it. The main climb is at about the 3 kilometer mark and is nearly 3 kilometers long. It has 155 meters of elevation gain and averages 5.1%. Strava lists this one as a Cat 4. The first third of this hill is moderate, with the gradients mostly being in the 6 to 9% range. The middle third is where it gets pretty tough, with the gradients hitting 12% and mostly hovering in that 9 to 11% range. The ending does mellow quite significantly with a few downhills, but still peaks at about 7.5%. You won't see double digits again in the last third of this climb. If you're a newer rider, pace along the first third comfortably, but save several gears for the middle. Once there, concentrate on keeping an even and consistent pedaling, and be sure to watch the gradient profile so you can change gears early before you start to struggle. Use that last third as a bit of a cool down before heading for the fun and flat sections. If you're an experienced rider, you should be able to easily judge your effort up based on the profile. The rest of the course is very flat with mellow gradients that will mostly be in the 2 to 3% range. After the hill, it's a great route to push along pretty hard if you're so inclined. As for the 2 short sprint segments, the first is at about the 15 kilometer mark and is just under 1 kilometer long. It has a slight incline to it with the average of 1.7%. The second is at about the 23.5 kilometer mark and is extremely short at only 120 meters long. This is probably why it's not listed on Strava, which is a shame as it was actually quite fun. It's a very easy sprint, being completely flat to downhill, but if you want to do well, don't wait for the Rouvy alerts to start your spin up. You'll completely miss the top speeds until the end of the segment. So look out for it and start spinning up early so that you can hit that max speed. Unfortunately, you won't be getting any Strava cred for it, but it's fun either way. For this ride, you'll actually be wanting a pretty good warm-up. The ride starts with a short uphill section. It's only about 650 meters long, but will peak at 4.5%. Aim for 10 to 15 minutes at least, and longer if you're wanting to push pretty hard. More than half of the elevation gain on this route is completed before the first 10 kilometers, so a good warm-up here is pretty crucial. And as always, I suggest that you pre-fuel this ride and include plenty of protein. Being almost 40 kilometers, you'll likely want to fuel again on this one. Around 10 grams if you're taking it easy, or 15 grams if you're pushing around the halfway point should be pretty good. The easier you take it, the less fuel you'll need. And of course, always have some fast-acting carbs on hand in case you need them. If you've pushed pretty hard, follow this one up with a protein of some sort. If you haven't, you may not need it as much. A magnesium supplement is always recommended, especially at a route of this length. The view on this ride is pretty spectacular. Sometimes you're following along a river, sometimes it's little villages, sometimes it's vineyards, and sometimes it's enclosed roads. There's some pretty great looking mountains in the background of nearly every shot that you can see. Mountains always give a very peaceful and serene feel, I think. And be sure to watch out for the old Mustang. I went at a medium pace for this ride and completed it in about an hour and 20 minutes. So if you're pushing, you could complete it in 1 hour, but budget anywhere from 1 to 2 hours depending on how hard you want to go. This is probably not the best choice for someone with time constraints, as you do want a decent warm-up to start. And if you have pushed hard, again, you'll be needing a decent cooldown as well. Overall, this is a fantastic route and I would definitely recommend it. The main climb might be a bit harder for newer riders, so do take it into consideration. However, if you can make it past that, the rest of this is absolutely no difficulty for any level of rider. For this route, I will give it a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. It's a great distance and has some good challenges in it. For the climb, 1.5 out of 5. It's not that hard for an experienced rider, but if you're newer, you may need to plan more carefully on how you're going to get up it. For the view, 5 out of 5. It's got all of my favorite elements and it was very pleasant to be amongst it. And overall, a 5 out of 5. Definitely stick this one in your ride queue. Well, that's it for this review, so thanks for watching, Chipmunks. I'll leave you to finish the rest of the St. Pölten route, and I'll see you next week for another review. Until then, ride on, Chipmunks, ride on.